Hello everyone, in this video we're going to draw a horse. Start by drawing a circle as a guide for the front part of the body. To draw the circle, make two small marks to indicate the circle's length, and then on the sides make two more small marks to indicate the circle's width. Then just connect the marks using curved lines to create the shape of the circle. Sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. And pause the video to draw at your own pace. The circle doesn't have to be perfect, but if you're having a hard time drawing it, just trace the outer edge of a coin or a bottle cap or anything else with a circular edge. To the left, draw another circle as a guide for the back portion of the body. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle as well. Pay attention to the position of this circle. Don't draw it too far off to the left, otherwise the body will be too long. Use the 4 marks method to draw this circle as well. This circle should be slightly smaller than the first circle. On the top right side, draw a smaller circle as a guide for the head. Pay attention to the placement of this circle as well. Don't draw it too high up, otherwise the neck will be too long. This circle should be about 1/4 the size of the first circle. On the lower right side, make a small mark as a guide for the muzzle. And then connect the small mark to the head circle using curved lines. The base of the muzzle should be wide and the tip should be more narrow. Horses have long faces, so this arc-like shape should be pretty long too. On top of the head, draw 2 small triangular shapes as guides for the ears. The lines for the ears should be similar to the letter M. Draw 2 long curved lines that connect the head to the body to create the guide for the neck. The bottom part of the neck should be wider than the top part. Connect the first 2 circles using curved lines to finish the guide for the torso. Under the first circle, draw 2 long vertical lines as guides for the front legs. Pay attention to the length of these lines in relation to the body. Horses have long legs, so make these lines long. At the bottom, bend the lines to the right slightly to indicate where the joints and the hooves will be. Under the circle on the left, draw 2 more long lines as guides for the hind legs. Make sure that the lines for the hind legs and the front legs are the same length. Bend the lines near the middle for one joint and then bend them again near the bottom for another joint. On the top left side of the body, draw a long curved line as a guide for the tail. And that's it for the guidelines. Now let's start on the final drawing. On the top right side of the head, lightly sketch a small circle for the eye. When you get the position and size of the eye right, darken the lines, but make the sides a bit more pointy so that it looks like a little football. Darken the top line and make it a little more thick for the eyelashes. Inside the eye, draw a small curved line for the iris. Inside the iris, draw a tiny circle to represent a highlight. Shade the iris except for the tiny highlight circle. Make the middle of the iris darker for the pupil. Above the eye, draw a curved line for the eyelid. Inside the muzzle, near the tip, draw a small curved line for the nostril. Add another small curved line on the right side to close off the shape, and then just shade the inside of the shape. Add a couple of curved lines around the nostril to give it more structure. Use the initial arc-like shape as a guide to draw the muzzle. Darken the right side of the initial guide to create the shape of the muzzle. Near the bottom, curve the line inward to the left to create the mouth. Don't make the line for the mouth too long. Under the mouth, draw a smaller curved line for the lower lip. And under the lower lip, draw another small curved line for the chin. Extend the line for the chin farther to the left, but keep it inside the initial arc. Use the triangular shapes on top of the head as guides to draw the ears. Follow the basic path of the shape on the left side to create the shape of the first ear. Make the lines a little bit more wavy as you darken the shape. Inside the shape, draw a couple of curved lines for the ear's opening and to give it more structure. Use the shape on the right as a guide to draw the other ear the same way. Make the lines wavier than the initial guide and make the shape of this ear smaller than the first ear. In between the ears at the bottom, draw a series of wavy lines for the front part of the mane. Don't draw every individual hair strand for the mane. Instead, draw it as a big shape that is made up of smaller, pointy, angled lines. Darken the outer edges of the initial guides to create the rest of the head. Make the bottom of the head a little bit thinner than the initial guides. On the left side, draw a long curved line for the jaw. Darken the top part of the neck for the first part of the mane. Draw the top edge of the mane a little bit higher than the initial guideline, and use wavy lines too. The bottom edge of the mane is made up of thin, pointy shapes. Don't draw every individual hair strand for the mane, just draw the shape of the mane as a single big clump. The bottom tips of the mane should be pointy and similar to the letter V. Use different sizes as you draw these thin, pointy V-shaped lines. Draw these thin, pointy lines across the neck and farther to the left into the back. Draw a couple of curved lines inside the mane to emphasize the curvature of the shape. Darken the bottom part of the neck too. Use the line under the body on the rightmost side as a guide to draw the first front leg. Lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guide. Draw the sides of the leg close to the guide to keep the shape of the leg skinny. The top of the leg should be a little bit wide, and then it should gradually get more narrow toward the bottom. Use a couple of curved lines near the middle and near the bottom for the joints. At the very bottom of the leg, draw a square-like shape for the hoof. When you get the shape of the leg right, darken the lines. The area between the bottom joint and the hoof should be very thin. The hoof kind of slightly slopes to the right. Remember to keep the overall shape of the leg thin. Near the bottom, draw a short line for the top part of the hoof. Now use the line on the left side as a guide to draw the other leg the same way. Lightly sketch the shape of the leg around the guideline. Use curved lines near the middle and near the bottom for the joints, and use a box-like shape at the bottom for the hoof. When you get the shape right, darken the lines. Now use the line under the body on the leftmost side as a guide to draw the first hind leg the same way. Draw the shape of the leg around the guideline. Remember to sketch lightly at first so that it's easy to erase if you make a mistake. The top part of this leg should be a lot wider than the top part of the front leg. Keep the lower part of the leg skinny though. When you get the shape right, darken the lines. The middle part of the leg kind of slopes to the left a little bit. The joint at the bottom should curve a lot, almost like a circle. And the hoof at the bottom should be almost like a square. Use the line on the right as a guide to draw the final leg the same way. A big part of this leg will be hidden behind the first hind leg, so don't draw the top part. Remember to draw the sides of the leg close to the guide to keep the shape of the leg skinny. Use the remaining lines and shapes as guides to draw the rest of the body. Simply darken the outer edges of the initial guides to create the shape of the body. Don't overlap the front leg that's on this side of the body as you draw the chest. Darken the line on the left to create the tail. Use a series of short strokes along the bottom of the tail for the hair strands. Continue to draw more short strokes along the right side to make the shape of the tail wider. You can make the tail longer if you'd like. Now just erase the initial guides for a cleaner drawing. This process is sped up so the video won't be too long. You don't have to erase all of the guides, it's okay if you leave some behind. Also, redraw any of the final lines that you may have accidentally erased. And now shade your drawing. This process is also sped up so the video won't be too long. Horses have a variety of coat patterns, so you can shade yours however you'd like. For this look, use a dark value on the tail and the mane, but leave a section blank to represent shine. And then just use a medium value all over the body except for a small portion in the front of the head. Vary the pressure on your pencil to get different degrees of tonal value. So push harder on your pencil when you want darker tones, and lighter on your pencil when you want lighter tones. Now add some shadows all over the body using a darker value to give the figure more dimension and volume. Shade lightly at first and gradually build up to darker values. Shading can be time consuming, so be patient and take breaks. It's a good idea to use reference as you shade for a more accurate depiction of a horse. If you own a horse, try to duplicate its coat pattern on your drawing. Add a darker value on the underside of the body, on the legs, and on the neck to create deeper shadows. Add some shadows on the jaw, on the muzzle, and around the eye to give the head more structure. Use even strokes all over the body for smooth shading. Use smooth strokes as you transition from the shadows to the light part of the body. Draw a shadow at the bottom using a medium value. This grounds the horse so that it doesn't appear to be floating. And then keep shading until you're happy with the result. And that'll do it for the horse. Don't forget to pause the video to draw at your own pace. Also, please visit howtodrawanimals.com where every step of this tutorial is broken down into an individual image. That's how, then the number 2, and then drawanimals.com. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment. Also subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep drawing.